Hi, I have looked over your paper and I figured the easiest way to communicate what I found in your draft would be through an audio screen capture. So first of all, I looked through your APA formatting. Almost all of it is really good. Couple of little things. One would be as we get down into the parenthetical citations, when you are doing paraphrased or summarized information, you need to make sure you give a signal phrase before it begins and then that parenthetical citation at the end. Here's that parenthetical citation here, which is good, but I don't always know where the information begins that belongs to Friedman, what belongs to and what belongs to Friedman without a very, very clear signal phrase. If you're not sure what a signal phrase is, it's, that Friedman states, comma, something where it's very clear that this is where Friedman's work begins. Yours ends and Friedman's begins. If you have questions about it, I know there's some information about it on our Sakai site. You can go to the Purdue OWL or look inside of our APA manual. Additionally, here's a really good one. Friedman established herself as an expert and gained the trust of her audience through her use of ethos. Now, I know that that is your sentence, but because you don't have a clear signal phrase for this sentence here, then I'm assuming that from this parenthetical citation all the way to here belongs to Friedman, and I know that's not true. So be careful with those signal phrases and make sure you put them in. Something else, this isn't really APA, but you want to take out all of these contractions. The only time you should have a contraction in there is if it's inside quoted material because it's what the author of one of your sources used. Contractions just make your work seem more casual and you want to sound as professional as possible. So take those, and I know we talk that way all the time, and you'll probably write it out that way when you first type out your paper, which is fine, but make sure that when you go back and revise, you catch them all and take them out, okay? All right, the only other thing on here about, sorry for scrolling so much, APA would be your reference page. Make sure you have the issue number after the British Medical Journal and the page number. So those two pieces are missing. You can find them on the PDF. If you can't find them on the PDF that I gave you, then you can also look up that particular article on our schools in the library database. Okay, going through the paper itself, your introductory paragraph is pretty good. I have some issue with you tend to use parentheses. Take those things out. It's awkward. If you want to say believe and support, just put believe and support, okay? Something else is a little bit of awkward wording, proposing a payment legalization for organ donors. Seems a little strange. I know you're trying to not repeat what she said, but it's okay if you use, legalization for, payment of living organ donors. Okay. Another thing on here is you have to make sure you put this. You didn't have this comma here. I added this. The medical community. The medical community is describing her audience, so it should be set off by commas. Something else is that you say the purpose of Friedman's article, but you don't give me the title of the article, so I have no idea which article you're talking about. So make sure you put the title of the article in there. Make sure you put where it was published and the year it was published. So somewhere in this introductory paragraph, add that. Other than that, your thesis statement is fine. The rest of your intro is fine. I added these in here where it says problem and solution because it really does help your paper to put these level 2 headings in to separate. There's the claim of policy, but there's the two pieces to it. You do a really good job with explaining the claim of policy. What I would do is make sure that you're explaining all of it, but then you need to explain how this helps convince her audience that the problem actually exists. There's that little piece that's missing there. And I would say the same here. You have in hopes that her audience might fix them. That's actually very good. I would elaborate on that a little bit more. In the solution section, the solution needs to be much bigger than this. You need to talk about two things in here. One, you need to talk about the fact that she convinces her audience that her solutions is ethically acceptable. That's that whole thing where she compares it to other already accepted legal practices of donating body parts, not body parts, but bodily donations, or renting out of the uterus, et cetera, et cetera, that whole column. You don't have to go into detail because you'll probably go into detail about that in Logos, but even just a couple simple sentences such as, she convinces her audience that it's ethically acceptable. She does this by comparing the organ donation, the living organ donation, to other already legally legal and accepted practices of body donations. So just a quick sentence or two in there to show that she does that, and then just a couple quick sentences about how she presents the solution. There's that section about how will it work, and so make sure you even use in her section titled "How will it work?" or "How does it work?" I can't remember the exact name of it. You'll put in there that this is where she presents the solution to answer the questions that our audience might have, et cetera, et cetera. So this section needs to be elaborated on and supported a little more. Okay, as far as ethos goes, it looks pretty good. For this, you say that to alleviate any skepticism about her, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Make sure that you maybe elaborate that on that a little more. That's that analysis of how does it help persuade them. So I think that's really good. Let's see. The same for here, that she uses all these credible references. You're going to want to talk about the fact that she doesn't just use them, but anytime she makes a statement, she backs it up. That's going to help fill that section, this paragraph out a little bit more. Additionally, how does that help establish her as an expert? It says that she researched the topic. Well, that's great. How does that help persuade her audience? How does that alleviate any fears they may have or whatever? So you have here, she made this point to show that she's honest and trustworthy. Again, it helps her audience believe what she's saying, that she's going to present everything. I don't, just one more sentence in there in order to explain how it helps to persuade her audience. Overall, your paper is quite good. I would just say, you get it. You understand exactly what's going on here. Just make sure that you are always, in each of these sections, after each paragraph, you're answering those questions of how does it affect the audience and how does it help, or how does that help persuade them. I'm not going to go over every little thing in every paragraph. That's not what I do. I just try to give you an overall feeling for it. I would put those two paragraphs together in your conclusion into one more solid conclusion. Other than that, really good work on this. Very good work.